Hello, everyone. So, I go buy coin stars all the time because some people find stuff in them. Usually, the only thing I ever find in them is a few pennies. But I go buy coin stars last weekend. There was a bid in two of them out of the three I saw. 2018 Philly, no big deal. This isn't old enough to be a silver Canadian, so it's no big deal either. But those two and this coin were in the Coinstar, one of them. That's a 1954. It's black on that side, not here, and there's no mint mark. So it's a 1954 Philadelphia. Got that out of a Coinstar, so that's free silver. Now I went to another place and they had a Coinstar as well and saw something in it. Turns out it's this. And this is why it got rejected. It's a Denmark. I kind of like the crown design on this though. It's a 1968. I don't think this is silver. Don't feel very heavy, so I'll have to look it up for sure. But I know the Canadian in that 2018 are not silver. Now, I did get one more 2025 cent. And I read online somewhere today they were talking about the U.S. Mint is going to stop making once they run out of the planchets. Might not be 2025 though. I don't know how many of them they have, but it's not a huge deal. Now, I managed to fill this coin jar. It took me almost a year. Well, not coin jar, but coffee jar. Almost a year to get all these. Hello, time and tide. Took me about a year to get all these out of my change. They're all from 1959 to 1981. They're all copper. And whenever I fill up something like this, or something like that, which is silver dollars, my coin dealer always says, get a bigger jar or get a bigger container. So while that is full, I dropped the lid and it cracked. So that's what I've done. I'm going to move all those cents to this jar, which is twice as big. It's a good sized jar. Those pennies will probably come up about here in it, where my thumb is. I'm going to try to fill that one up. Well, let's just talk about how much is it. I don't know. But here's a nice looking example of what I'm talking about. 1960. It's a copper cent. Last time I checked about a week ago, this is worth almost 3 cents in copper. So that's why I've been doing it. Now, you're not going to make any real money, but that's probably got, if I had to guess, $6 or $7 in that jar at least. I didn't count it. I just put it all in there. And so I don't really know. That's a question I can't tell you. Now, all right. So I go to my other coin dealer, and I've been buying these silver dollars from him. under melt. When I say under melt, I weighed them by grams. Today, when I checked, these are worth 96 cents roughly at the price silver was this afternoon per gram. Now, I only say that because last week, I don't know if these are going to go in this tube. These two, I bought them for $24. It turns out that was about $1 under the melt value of these two silver dollars. So silver went up a bit since then because it was about 93 cents a gram. So I went to buy this one, and because silver's went up a little bit, he asked 25 for it. This thing's only a little bit down from 26.7. It's about 26.5 roughly. I gotta use my scale to get real close. But here we are, 1921 with a hole. It weighs 26.5, maybe 4 or 5. Because his scale only goes to tenths, not hundreds. Now, at 26 point, it said 5 on the scale, times 0.97, or well, not 97, we'll error that one out, 0.967, that's what it was. So it's 26, I'm gonna have to start over. 26, this calculator is weird. When you hit clear error, it doesn't just clear the error, it clears the whole thing pretty much. 26.5 times 0.967, that's how much this stuff was worth, the silver. So come up with 25.62. He asked $25 for this one, but I'm still under melt. If you can get a silver dollar under melt, I'm willing to buy them. No, you can't. But this was $25. I paid $25 for it. By its weight, it's worth 26 or 25.62. It's going in that tube. So now the tube will have 11 in it. Now the only problem with this is his number of hold silver dollars I've been able to get recently. There's only 2 left. 2 out of all the ones that he had. And I think there was about 15 of them total. So this tube has, there's 3 there, and this tube has 1. That one wasn't one of them. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them here. And my other tube, locked away in the vault, is where they are. Oh, what are the holes for? Well, some people back in the day used to like to wear a necklace with a silver dollar on it. So they drilled a hole in the silver dollar to carry it. Now people, today I don't see too many people with silver dollars on necklaces, but apparently it used to be a thing for quite some time. Now, that has a D mint mark on it, but it sure is tiny. It's about rubbed off or something. But if you can get one of these for under melt, I say do it. Because when you go to sell them, if you have silver chains, heavy silver chains to put these on, you can have a ring that holds it and then put in the chain, or a pendant type bezel that goes around it and holds it. Got that in a chain, you might be able to get a good price out of one of these if somebody wants them for that purpose. But other than that, all these, I bought them under melt, so if silver goes up and I sell them for melt, I make a little money. And if silver goes down, well, I don't sell them unless I have to, for money. But I have plenty of stuff I'd probably sell before I sell these. And so I'm going to show you what I mean. Now, we'll move some stuff out of the way. For this, oh yeah, one last thing about dollars. I went by the bank, and they had a couple dollar coins. Unfortunately, they were both presidentials. And what I'm looking for is a Sacagawea 2000 Philadelphia. Because in those, there's about 100 known error coins. That's a nice looking stone, but it's glass. It's a paperweight, basically. It's called the Wounded Eagle. They know about 100 of them are known to exist, but where there's 100, there could be a few more. So I'm going to go ahead and lay this right here. This is coin glass. It's something made by Fostera Glass Company. They made Sun and Moon and a few other different type ones too. It's called uranium glass because it kind of glows, especially if you put backlight it well. So this is the kind of stuff I would sell first before I sell the silver dollars. Put some in here and we'll pick a few examples out and talk about them. Because this kind of silver is 90% junk. Includes 64 Kennedys and older. This is a Philadelphia. Mint mark on them is on the back. I don't know if I have another one in here. Well, I know I do. Here's one right here. That's the Denver. And you can see the D right there. It's the only one of these Kennedys that have the mint mark on the back. All the other ones, after that, the mint mark is on the front. But if you are looking and you run across a Roosevelt dime, I might have one. Here's one here, but here's another one. All right. If you're looking at a bunch of dimes in your pocket change, and you don't even look at the date, you just flip it over on the back, and you see that. If you see a mint mark on the back of a Roosevelt dime, it's silver. 64 and older are silver, and they first started making these in 46, if I remember correctly. Now, Walking Liberty. This is something that I would probably sell right at melt. You got a partial date on it. It's a 42. It's worn quite a bit. And then stuff like these, they made lots of every year of this, unless it's a proof or something or real high grade. I could probably sell this at melt if I wanted to go on Whatnot or sell it on Instagram or whatever. Most of these are really, none of these are very collectible either. They all made millions and millions except for the 1932 DNS. And then the 37S is next, but it's like 1.6 million were made. But most of these walkers, they made a lot of them every year. There are a few certain years, like 1921, which is lower mintage. And the same thing goes for the Mercury dimes. Most of them, they made a lot of. This is a 25. So it's 100 years old. It's pretty interesting in a way. This is a Philadelphia one. No mint mark. Let's see if I can find one with a mint mark. That one's not got one. I've got quite a few of them in here. Because when I was buying all this stuff in 2022 at a treasure chest, and I was trying to fill it with 90% junk silver. That's a Denver one. If you find a 1916D like this, you got something. That's a low mintage. It probably won't happen. You could buy a bag of 1,000 of these and look through every one of them and probably not find anything good. It'll all be highly minted stuff, because when they got towards the end of making these, they were making over 100 million of the Philadelphia ones the last couple years. This one's an older one. I can get it up on my finger better. 1919. But wonder how old this one looks like. It got wore a bit. Ah, here we go. 1948. Dates worn quite a bit. So this one circulated a lot. And it has a mint mark. It's a Denver. But what else is in here? Thought I might have a barber half or a barber dime in this. Probably do in the bag if I continue to dig. Oh, here's one that's kind of interesting looking. It's a 1961 and scratched up something fierce. But I got it cheap. Oh, here we go. There is a barber in this. 1910. But when you go about buying silver and you want to buy it cheap, at melt basically, this is what you end up buying. This mercury dime, most of the date is gone. I can tell it looks like a 1, maybe a 7. But it's very worn. On the back, the rim is pretty much gone. But, you know, that's what this stuff is for. I would sell this before I would bother selling the silver dollars in this. And that particular one cost me a little bit more. It's maybe $1 over melt. It's ugly with spots on it. Back's okay though. It's barely worn. It didn't circulate very much. The design on these piece dollars is kind of soft. Not quite like a Morgan. Morgan dollars. I don't know if there's any really old ones in this. Yeah, they're 21s. None of the really old ones, but when you compare the design features on the front of a piece dollar and the way the eagle looks on the back, the higher details, and the lettering around this is pretty soft. So yeah, this is over 100 years old too. But you look at the Morgan dollar, 1921, although this one's worn a bit and has a terrible hole in it. Some of the details of it though, when you look at it closely, it's a lot sharper looking than what the piece dollar is. And part of it's by how they made these. They cut these dies in a way that when they done the piece dollar, it was just not as much. Well, flipping plugs. This is for you then. Went by a Coinstar and there's a few coins in it. Reached in and that was one of them. 1954 Philadelphia. It's silver. It's worth a little more than $2 by melt. But yeah, all this stuff and this is stuff that I would sell around melt probably. And you take that much. $1.40 of this stuff, face value, is right near 1 ounce of silver. 1 troy ounce, that is. But if they're less circulated, like these, you get up $1 worth of these. We'll just grab a Franklin. You get that, and then 4 dimes that are barely worn, which most of these are worn some. You get 3 more Roosevelts like this that aren't worn too much, and you got yourself about 1 ounce of silver, or per dollar's face of circulated stuff like this comes out to about 0.715 roughly per dollar, which your silver dollars, $1 of this versus $1 of these, there's more silver. These two started at 25 grams. This starts at 26.7 and change. So it's over 1.5 grams more silver in a silver dollar than what your standard 90% coins, unless you get back into some of the seeded and cap bust half dollars. The early ones of the seeded dollar, or half dollar, I mean, were 13 something grams. And so were the cap bust. Let's see if I can find a Barber half dollar in this bag. When I was buying this stuff, I was able to score quite a bit of Walkers and Benjamin Franklins. And I did get a few Kennedys, although at that time it was kind of hard to find them. I don't see a Barber half. I could probably find one reasonably quick, but for the purpose of the illustration, this is the stuff I would sell if I was selling. And you're not going to get much of a price off of something like this. You put this in a card and try to sell it, they'll probably have it right around melt. Maybe a little more than melt just because you put it in the card and took some effort. But the way I would probably sell this, what's the Standing Liberties? They're 90% silver. They made them from 1916 to 1947. But if I was selling these, this is probably what I would do. I grab a bunch of these Walkers and drop them in a bag like this. Say like I wanted to put 10 in it. Probably do it. I'm up to 7. Didn't make it in the bag. There we go. Yeah, 1916 until 1947. These are all random dates. Most of them are 40s coins. But in this bag, there's 10 coins or $5 face. And if I wanted to sell this, given that these are worn, I'll probably go by the melt value. And that would probably be about $110 worth in this, give or take. They're about $11 by melt right now, give or take. But that's how I'd probably sell them. So this one's a 45. Near the last year they made them. That one's missing part of the date. If they're missing part of the date, I would definitely try to get them for under melt. 1943, another 43, a 42, 43 again. Look and see if one of these has a mint mark on it. Oh, these are almost all Philadelphia's. All right, here we go. Two different ones with mint marks on the back. There's small mint marks on these. That's a San Francisco, and that's Denver. Well, I was showing you some of these in the tray. That's 1933, and that's 1945. Most of the ones in this are from the 30s and 40s. There is a 27 that's partial dated. Where is that coin? It got mixed up in here. I don't know where it is, but yeah, that treasure chest, for those who want to watch me fill up this over the year when I was doing it, I have a playlist, and you can see every coin I put in it pretty much. You know, when I only bought a couple at a time, or you can see like bags of mercury dimes, which this has an old world map on it, and it's about roughly 4x4 and about I'd say 2.5 inches deep. Got it at Hobby Lobby. Should have waited for when they had a sale, but I didn't. So when I bought it, this was $10.99. If they have it on sale, you can get them half price. I think this same chest now costs $12.99 or something. And this tells you the outside dimensions of the chest. Well, there's a bunch of coins there to look at. So I filled this thing up, and given its size, it held quite a bit. I mean, when I was doing this, I was going to my coin dealer, and when he had bulk bags of this stuff, I'd buy 3 or 4 of these at a time in a little bag like this. Copper mint condition penny. Well, that's kind of nice. But yeah, I was buying them like this in bags, most of them. I mean, I bought some of these mercury dimes in bags of 20 or something. Bought a lot of these standing liberties from a different coin dealer. I told him what I was doing. I told him what I was looking for, and he found a bunch of dateless standing liberties. I mean, that's probably the single most common coin in the whole bunch, is a dateless standing liberty of the whole challenge, because he was selling me these under melt often. That one's got a D mint mark, but the date's gone. I mean, I think I paid as little as $3.50 each for these at one point, and got a lot of them for $4 or $4.50, depending on what the silver price was when I bought them. Well, I haven't sold any of these from this yet. Someday I might, as I go along in the years. And this would be a perfect example of something to sell. I mean, these coins. I mean, if I get what I paid for them, I broke even, that's fine with me. I don't care about that. It wasn't bought to make a huge profit. This kind of stuff you won't, because it's all common. I made a lot of these coins, these Benjamin Franklins. They made a lot of them. Unless you got a proof or an exceptionally high grade one, you're not going to get much of a price out of this. This one's slightly circulated. Yeah. So if I was selling, this would be the kind of coins I'd sell. Not so much these right now, because for me, this is real easy to get a hold of. I could go tomorrow and take a bunch of cash and probably get a bag of walkers, 7 or 8 coins at least. Cost me 80, 90 bucks probably, somewhere in that neighborhood. I think he'll probably have this stuff around $12.50 tomorrow each coin if it's in a card. If he's selling them in bulk, they might be a little less. And if he has any dateless standing liberties, which I did get some from him too, they'll be cheaper. Or heavily worn mercury dimes in a bag. He oftentimes has bags of this kind of coin, 50 a minute. I don't like to buy that many at one time usually, but if it's a good enough price, I will. And that might be one with a date. Nope, sorry, no date. But yeah, this kind of coin, you shouldn't pay much for them. Not much over melt at all. The guy's insistent, maybe 10 or 15 cents over melt. But other than that, I would not suggest going out and paying a lot of money for one in this kind of shape. Any of these coins in this tray. I mean, of course, the JFK one. This has got mint luster on it. It's scratched up a little, but not too bad. Barely circulated. But you can't get much of a price because they made a ton of these. Philadelphia and Denver. Unless you get one like that little FG. If that wasn't on this, that's an error, I believe. And there's a few of them known to exist. They can be worth a lot. There are double die ones on the 64 and In God We Trust. You'll have to look at it really close to see them. But even that doesn't really add a whole lot of value to them. This, stackers love these because they're usually the cheapest ones you can get $half of. And the Franklins and Walkers, they love them too. But I think the design is what people like more about this one than just its, being a raw coin. These, though, this is a 48, first year of these. It's a very short series. You can get the whole set, the business strike ones, no proofs. Pretty easy. So I know some people who used to buy the books, and they said, yeah, well, I filled about 10 or 15 of these books with Benjamin Franklin coins. They're fairly common. Usually, a coin dealer always has some. This is San Francisco, 1951. That's mint. It's right up there, and that's where the Denver is too. It's really small though. Mint marks on them. But that's pretty much what I had in mind for tonight. Went over the fact that I actually found silver in a Coinstar, which is pretty cool. Got one more silver dollar for my tube here. 1921 Morgan dollar with a hole in it. And if anybody else didn't catch what I said earlier and they're watching this part, it's because people used to wear these like necklaces. That's why they have holes in them. But I can't think of any other reason why someone would actually drill a hole in these kinds of coins. There might be a few of these other coins in the entire bag worth of them, which this is most of the coins that were in the treasure chest challenge. I have another bag that's not quite as full. Then I have some in tubes that I bought for it, but kept them out. Well, depending on what Morgan dollars you have, it could be worth a lot. But I'll tell you one thing that isn't really worth a whole lot. Even a high mint state 1921 will not be worth a whole lot. It might be 80, 90 bucks if it's graded by PCGS like really high. But they made 46 million Philadelphia and over 20 million San Francisco and 20 million Denver Morgan dollars in 1921. It is a lot. So those won't really have much value. Now the ones that are older, most of them are common and they don't get a real high price either. The ones that'll get a high price are the really low mintage ones, or the ones where conditional rarity, there's almost none that have been graded in mint state. Those can be worth a lot. 93S, that one in mint states, it's the lowest mintage of the Morgans. Oh, so Vice looking to get into purchasing some silver coins. Well, hopefully you have a coin shop in town. If you have a coin shop in town, you go there and you talk to the guy who's owns it, or woman, whoever owns it. Sometimes you can score this stuff at pawn shops. Generally, they want more than what they should, and they pay you less than what they should too. Yeah, them are some of them, I believe. 1886 Orleans was a really high value coin in mint state. You got all those. Well, 1884. Yes, if it's in higher grade, that could be one that might be worth grading. But the 93S is the king of the Morgans, basically. There's a few other ones that are pretty high value too, that in mint state, high mint state, they're $100,000 coins, which I don't have anything like that. I've not got that kind of bankroll. But I do have plenty of the common stuff, and it's not that hard to find. But if there is a coin shop in town, you go there and you look and see if he has some of these and see what he's asking. Now, one of them I go to has a little cardboard box in his display case with a bunch of this kind of silver in it. Last time I went there, I think he was at about, I want to say 22x or 22.5x. Well, a bag of coins, or a Culligan jar or a coffee jar full of coins, you don't know what's in it unless you look at all of it, or look at a lot of it. At least with this, if you're buying a small Ziploc bag with 3 or 4 of them in it, you can look at each coin pretty easy. But I would go to a coin shop if there's one in your town, and go in and see if they have 64 Kennedys at recent prices. You go in there and say it looks about like this one, a little circulated but not much. He has it in a card mount. It says 1964 Kennedy, and this D, and his prices say 12 bucks at recent prices. It's probably a good coin dealer to buy this kind of stuff from, because you shouldn't have to pay very much. If you go there and it's like $15, then they're a little high. And then if you find a Walker like this, you can see it's got a part of a date on it. This should be at least as cheap as this 64, maybe even 50 cents less. Now, some of these other ones, like Barber coins, Some of them are pretty low mintage, so they can be kind of expensive, even in worn condition. But no, you go and you find a coin dealer in town. You just look at what he's selling and what he wants. Most of these should be about the same price as the Kennedy. Benjamin Franklin's, unless it's like really high grade. But even then, it shouldn't be terribly expensive. But if you go there and he's got several of these in cards, and he wants about $12.50. The red notes, yeah, red seal notes are pretty cool. You don't see them too often. Even my coin dealer who does buy paper sometimes don't have a whole lot of red seal coin, dollars. I did buy a $2 bill and a $5 bill off of him that looked fairly well uncirculated for the $half or 50 cent. I mean, this has got some unsightly staining on it, toning, whatever it is. It's a Denver 1964D. They made a ton of these. Very hard. Even I can buy these at mint state if my coin dealer has them for practically the same price as any other Washington, even if it's worn, because they just made so many of them. As he put it once, they're common as dirt. And that's the problem with most of this kind of silver. It's just so common that you can get it pretty easy. Yeah, you can remove toning, but it's probably not a good idea. Because if it is a better coin and you don't know it and you remove the toning, what you've done is ruin your coin because you cleaned it. This, I don't remember what it was. It was around melt. But sometimes you can get a damaged one like this real cheap too. If it's damaged like this, it should be about melt price tops. It's a common date anyway, but it's interesting looking. But that's what I would say about Mercury dimes and these Roosevelts. Very common. Don't pay very much for them. I think about $250 is about what the cheapest one of these my coin dealer had the last time I was looking at him. Somewhere around there, and he didn't have too many of these. They're common as dirt, but he likes Mercury's more, I believe. Yeah, when you clean a coin, you take the value away. That's exactly right, Jeff. So you don't want to clean them unless you kind of know what you're doing, because you can restore one of these if it's got something on it, like say PVC, which some of these were kept in stuff that was old flips, mounts, whatever you want to call them, that was PVC, and then when you take the coin out, some of that sticks to it. Acetone. Acetone doesn't really do anything to the coin except clean it. So you can clean it with acetone and maybe use a Q-tip. It won't mark it. It's very soft. You might be able to clean it that way, but I still would not recommend it unless you know what you're doing. And if you feel like you need to clean something to see how it works, pick something very common that is not high value before you even think about doing one that has extra value. Because if a coin has extra value and you mess it up, you just ruined your coin and you lost money by doing it. But one thing you might want to do before you buy any coins is get a red book. And it doesn't have to be a brand new one for the most part. This is a 2018 red book. You get one of these and it'll tell you the mintages and at the time approximate values of the coins. And if you put it on Morgan dollars like I got right here, This is going up to the 21, all the way down back to 1893 S. 100,000 were minted. You see that? 100,000, 1893 S. That 646,000 was a mint state 65 auctioned by Legend Auction in October 2014. But they have it listed there in this book, mint state 65 at $650,000. The only thing that'll change year to year on these is the values. The mintages will not. So that's why even an older one's still useful. So, I mean, this tells you all the details you need to know. It'll show you stuff like arrows at date, no raise, what the mint mark looks like, huge O and a normal O. You can see the difference on them. That's New Orleans mint. Again, that design, that's a 1-year design. I like that with it's got the rays, and on the other side has arrows. It's 1853. There's 4 of them that you can get: Philadelphia and New Orleans. Of course, you could get this one too, the 3/4 error or whatever, that restrike, whatever. But it's not, they're not really worth a ton at low values, low grades, I mean. You get good 4, which is worn quite a bit. You start getting up though on these to the mint state coins, you can see pretty hefty prices. 10,000. So it depends on what kind of collector you want to be and how big your pocketbook is. But the one coin dealer I go to is a jeweler, and he told me he prefers to get a few high value pieces, not so much like this, although he has tons of this stuff too. But he said, I'd rather have a few higher value items than a whole bunch of stuff that's not worth much. And I can understand where he's coming from and why, because the more and more of this you get, the more and more space it takes up. But I mean, that's not much space. Most people could store this stuff in a little safe or a vault or whatever you have, safety deposit box at a bank, whatever. You can store that pretty easily. It's when you start getting, if you're like a dealer and you've got massive amounts of this stuff, then it starts taking up a lot of space, and carrying it around starts to become a problem. Because if you got about $1,000 face of this stuff, it's going to be a pretty heavy bag, or if not a bag, one of those heavy canvas mint bags. Those, you got $1,000 face, that's $2,000 You know, if you're a coin dealer, you might have that much on hand, and you might take it with you to a coin show and try to sell it. And if you sold all of it, then you have to get more, because in order to stay in the business, you got to buy and sell this stuff. You have to buy it all the time, so you have it whenever someone comes to your shop and wants to buy it. So it's an endless cycle of buying and selling this stuff. I mean, I'm not really in the business. I just collect. So all this is just stuff I collected and keep. Now someday I probably will sell it. And I think in order to get the best price I'll be able to get, I'm probably going to have to sell it myself. Because if I take this to pawn shops or a silver coin dealer, Recently, my main coin dealer was paying $10 each for this kind of coin. It's a little under melt. I don't like that, but the other option is to take pictures, list it on eBay, and try to sell it that way, or use Instagram, whatnot. However you do it, eBay probably isn't a good choice. They have high fees, from what I understand. But if you're on Instagram and you sell this stuff, you say you sell a bag of it, you put a price, tell people how much you'll sell it for, and if they want it, they'll buy it. If they buy it, I don't think Instagram charges you any crazy fees for making a post and trying to sell it. The people that do that is eBay and other places that you sell stuff. I don't know how Whatnot works exactly. I know some people like to go on it and auction off this stuff or sell it or whatever, and they get reasonable prices. And I don't think Whatnot charges you a bunch of extra fees. You might have to pay a certain amount to have an account and actually sell on it, a monthly fee or something, or maybe a yearly fee. I don't really know, but I do know to get the best price for this, I'd have to sell it myself. If I go to the coin dealer, like I said, I'd take these to him. He'd go, "Yep, I'll give you $10 a piece for these," and 10 of them, that's $100. Now you get much more than that, and you start going around trying to sell it to people that love to collect this stuff. It starts becoming a problem. The guy's like, I don't have the cash. I don't have that much cash to buy $10 face of this. So if you want to sell it quick, you're probably gonna have to sell it to the coin dealer. If you want to sell it over time, several months, to a friend of yours who loves to collect this stuff and buy it too, you could do it that way. But if you need a bunch of money quick, you're probably gonna have to go to a coin dealer, or I was looking at one of the bullion websites. They said they would pay for a dollar's face of this kind of half dollars. It's $22 and something, but you had to have $1,000 worth, which at recent prices, you're talking about what they were paying, 22 something, $1,000 worth. I don't know if they mean $1,000 face or they mean $1,000 value. If they mean $1,000 value, you do your math. So 1,000 divided by 22, and it's about 50, I think, is what they said they would pay. So you need $44, about $45 face, or 80. Let's see, 44 divided by 2 or times 2 is 88. 89 coins. If that's what they mean, you'd have to have 89 of these to sell to them, which is quite a bit of them to do it. So I'd probably just sell it to my coin dealer for a little less and not bother with the mail and trying to get it there and hoping it gets there and hoping they actually give you the check back. But I've went on almost an hour tonight, which is longer than I expected, given that I really only had one new Morgan dollar and a Coinstar find and a couple US dollar coins that weren't worth nothing. I just started talking about this junk silver. Hope you found something interesting, and if you did, I hope you can like and subscribe. But for what it's worth, you usually pay a premium to get this stuff, and when you sell it, you're not going to get that same premium probably. Because anybody that's buying this to resell it can't pay you the full premium value that you paid for it, because then they'd be like, well, where's the money for me? There would be no money for them. The only way you're going to make any money buying and selling this is you have to buy it when it's lower and sell it when it's higher. And if you're a coin dealer, you have to make sure that you buy it for less than what you can sell it for. And with prices going up and down like it does, you never know what you'll be able to sell it for. But that's pretty much all I have for tonight. I hope everyone had a good time. I didn't expect to be on here for almost an hour, but it happened. And we'll see you next time, because that's all I got.